What is going on, everybody? You are back on another edition of Ballin Over Beers. I'm Justin Dupegeiser, and this is the PGA Bets Show. As you can tell, I am flying solo tonight. I got my guys, James and AK. They're off doing their thing. Gave them a night off. Told them I would take this one on alone. Talk a little bit about the upcoming tourney here for the PGA, and give a little recap of kind of the stuff that went on for the PGA Championship. But before we get into all that, make sure that however you're watching this, whether it be the podcast, you like and subscribe, leave a review. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button and give us who you think is going to be the winner of the Charles Schwab Challenge down in the comments. So, PGA Championship last week, Phil Mickelson. What a performance, right? Unfortunately, I had some responsibilities, so I watched a lot of the final round on my phone when I was out doing things. But what a performance! What can you say? All day Saturday, you kind of thought somebody might overtake him. All day Sunday, you kind of thought somebody might overtake him, and he had the chip in there out of the sand, and I think that was kind of where it's like, okay, somebody's going to have to come chase him down because he's going to do his thing. He's not going to just give it up. He's not going to make that huge mistake. And he didn't, kind of everybody. What a challenge Q Island was. I thought the course played awesome. It was hard. I know a lot of the guys said it was tough, but fair. So that's good. It really reminded me of, an Open, British Open, not a PGA Championship. But I think the PGA Championship's kind of going more that direction. But great entertainment, all week. And, I thought that we've had a couple duds, kind of even Hideki kind of ran away with it, where really the Masters wasn't and really questioned. We had like maybe 10 minutes where we thought, okay, maybe a little bit. And then I think it was Xander put it right in the water, so it didn't even matter. But this one had kind of drama from start to finish. It was close. There was people right there. You had Louis doing his thing. But just nobody could chase him down. And, you think always with Brooks, obviously Brooks is the guy that his stat there were compared to everybody else in the majors, what he's done, where he's like 81 under par, the next closest with Spieth at like 29 under or something like that. He thought maybe Brooks would be the guy to chase him down, but just didn't happen. I thought it was a great performance by Brooks. And it's funny, you look at Brooks, I think everybody was doing this, was kicking themselves, knowing that the books hung a 50 or more, some 54 I saw out there, 55, a 50 burger out there, and I didn't bet it. I was like, oh my God, what a dumb move. I hit him at the Phoenix Open earlier in the year at 55, so it's like, why would you just not bet him again? Obviously, it didn't matter, but even though it didn't hit, that was next time that happens. Any of those guys up top, the DJs, the Rorys, the Brooks, no, I don't think like DJ, Rory, Rahm, any of those guys are Bryson are going to ever get to 50. But if they're up there in the 20s, past 20, it's almost got to be an auto bet because those guys can just win at any point. And then if you don't bet it, you look like a real jackwagon. That's for sure. But the other funny thing with Brooks that obviously everybody's kind of seen now is the Brooks and Bryson clip. So he was getting interviewed or whatever, and Bryson ends up walking by, and he just gives the hardest eye roll basically ever, and just says he's distracted and he can't talk with that shit going on, and he's just totally just hates Bryson. It's hilarious. I think it's great. I love the fact that they're doing that. I think it's good entertainment. I think it gets a lot of eyeballs on golf, which is always a good thing. And, stuff like that has to happen because the PGA Championship, for as good as the tournament was, they just did another terrible job with the broadcast. You had Phil in contention, which is obviously, other than Tiger, he's probably the guy that's going to get the most eyeballs, maybe Spieth or Bryson at this point. And they just didn't show other players, or it was so delayed. The app was atrocious. You couldn't even do anything on the app. It wasn't even worth looking at. It was so bad. And I just don't understand how these tournaments, you can see like what the Masters rolls out there with and think, you know what, this is the app we're going to go with. This is going to be great. And shots aren't correct for 20 minutes, and I don't know. It's just crazy to me. They got to figure something out and figure out a way to grow the game. But the Brooks Bryson saga is real, and it's great. And maybe that Mike Davis will give us a Brooks Bryson pairing here for the U.S. Open, which would be just must-see TV. I would just absolutely love it. But let's move on to the Charles Schwab, because as good as the tournament was, my bets and my DraftKings were not. I was not on Brooks. I was not on Phil. I was not on Cantlay. I did have some Louis. I did have a little bit of Louis who was up there, but other than that, just not a great tournament overall. DraftKings were betting wise, but luckily enough for us, there's another week, and we're gonna try to get her figured out. So it's the Charles Schwab Challenge. I like this tournament. I think it's a pretty good tournament. I think it's a pretty fun tournament, fun course. You've had some really, really interesting winners, I guess you could say here. It's at Colonial Country Club. Usually pretty difficult, shorter course, bent grass greens. You've had everywhere from Jordan Spieth, Justin Rose, Kevin Na, those type of players, which, a lot of, seems like they have some similar skill sets. Rosie is probably the worst of those putters, but they all putt pretty well. And when you win you got to have your approach game pretty much on point. The small greens, you got to be able to hit the greens and make some putts. And that's, approach and putt is going to be huge this week. And that's kind of where I'm going to lean on a lot of my modeling as far as that's concerned. Got a couple guys that played here last year, at the top of the pricing for DraftKings and at the top of the betting board, and that's Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, both came T10 last year. Colin Morikawa finished second last year. Then you got Patrick Reed, who had a 7th and a 15th back in 2016. Daniel Berger won here last year. Those are the guys all 10,000 and above. So as far as the betting goes, Berger and up is 20 to 1 and up. Spieth is at the top 10, JT 12, Morikawa 14. Then you got Answer and Berger at 20. Reed is 22, Connor's 22, Finau 22. At the top of the board, I'm not going to be betting anybody. I looked really hard at Colin Morikawa. I really like him this week on DraftKings as well. He's 14. I wanted to pull the trigger. Last week I actually put a pretty good bet on Spieth. At that same, ended up being, I think, 14 or 16. I can't even remember now. And I didn't mind it. This week I can't pull the trigger on it. I'm looking at a couple players that are not too much further down the board, but there is some a little bit further down the board that I like. But DraftKings wise, I like Morikawa as well. I do like Spieth and Justin Thomas some. A lot of that's going to come down if I play them. It's going to be ownership. Spieth coming in at 17% right now on a Tuesday night. Justin Thomas at 11. Morikawa is going to be the highest owned. He's over 20. So if I go with Morikawa, I'm going to have to look to differentiate somewhere, whether that's Justin Thomas, who looks like he's the lower of the owned guys up top above 10K. So I'll probably have to go there if I want to try to get another guy above 10K in the lineups. But I do like a couple of the 9K players. So I could always, shift down to that range if I wanted as well. And in that range, this is where the board starts at 25. So you got Neiman at 25, Scheffler and Zalatoris also at 25, Justin Rose at 28, Im at 30, Brian Harman at 33, Hoffman and Gary Woodland, and Jason Kokrak at 40 right now. So my first bet of The tournament is going to be Mr. Joaquin Niemann at 25-1. I really like Niemann this week. He's not a very good around the green player, but with his irons, if his irons get going, he is somebody that can heat up quickly. Again, not a great putter, but again, it just takes him, one of those weeks where if he gets hot with a putter, he should be fine. And actually, with him, it's funny. You think of him as not a great putter. He's actually been putting quite well, where he's gained in 5 of his last measurable tournaments. So, and bent grass being his preferred surface, and he's also gained on approach and a ton. I think this is a good setup for him, right? He's going to hit a lot of fairways, and then he's going to, hopefully get that approach game hot and go from there. So I'm going to be playing quite a bit of him on DraftKings as well. I like starting, with Morikawa at 10-5 and then dropping down Neiman at 9-3. I don't mind that one bit. The other guy that I like in that range that I don't think I'm going to bet him, but I think I'm going to play him on DraftKings is Tony Finau. So Finau's 22-1 on the betting board, which I'm not going to bet him, but I like him. He's $9,600 on DraftKings. Just another guy plays these tougher courses pretty well, it seems. And with his length, he's gonna, he'll be able to dial it back a little bit. He can, hit a lot of fairways, use some, 3-woods, driving irons, stuff like that. He's 5th in the field in the last 24 rounds at the proximity of 125 to 150 yards, which I feel a lot of the shots will be coming from. So I like that about him. Again, came in 8th at PGA, has a 2nd at Genesis, a 2nd at Farmers this year. So little stretch of missed cuts there with Valero and the Players and Wells Fargo, but still overall playing pretty good. And he's always a guy that if he scores, he can outpay his pricing with the way he can get hot with the putter and make some birdie putts. The other people in that range, so I listed Jason Kokrak. Kokrak, he's been dropping like crazy. I think he started the week at 66. He's already down to 40. I think I got him at 50. But I like Kokrak a lot. I've been actually quite on him quite a bit as of recent for DraftKings as well. This week at DraftKings, pricing is at 9,000, so I'll probably be playing a little bit of him as well. Just great on the approach games, gained on approach in the last 4. He's actually gained on putting in the last 3. Had a little stretch there from WGC Mexico to the Players where he had 3 straight top 10s. Decent showing at the PGA Championship, 49th, was hit his approach and putted well, struggled with the off the tee and around the green. So keep the irons hot, keep the putter hot, take those right to the Charles Schwab Challenge with you, and he should be good to go there. If we keep going down the board, and we look at 50 and below, you got Grillo, Horschel, Tringale, Chris Kirk, Brent Snedeker, Kevin Na, Streelman, Matt Jones, Billy Mickelson, which I don't understand why he's playing. He just won a major at age 51. Just doesn't seem like any reason to be there, but maybe a sponsor or something like that. And then you got Ryan Palmer and Ryan Siwoo. So those are the guys from 50 to 70, basically. So Grillo is somebody really interesting right at the top there. I took a really hard look at him for betting. I did not end up pulling the trigger. He is first in my model over the last 24 rounds. He always worries you with the putting, right? But his iron game is really good. He's going to hit every single fairway. This seems just like a good fit for him. Like his irons have been on fire. The last 3 or 4 rounds, he went 7.1, minus 0.6, then 7.1, and then last round at the PGA Championship, he actually gained 7.5 and 1.3 with the putter. So he lost around the green and off the tee. So, the around the green is going to be tough because these greens are small. He's going to have to rely on that. You just never know. But, man, the approach game has been just fire like it usually is. So I do like him for DraftKings. I don't think I'm going to pull the trigger as far as betting is concerned. But man, it is enticing. It is enticing, that is for sure. His irons are just so good. Other guys in that range that I like, I think Charlie Hoffman's going to be pretty chalky. He is playing well. Let's see where this ownership is at. Yeah, he's coming in at over 18% right now. So is Corey Connors at 18.9, Eve Answer at 19. So those are some of your most popular plays, along with Morikawa. It's obviously Tuesday night, so things are going to change, but Hoffman's a good play, right? So he might be somebody where I do have a head-to-head matchup. I got him head-to-head against Brian Harman. I like that bet. I think Harman's a fine play. I just like Hoffman a little bit better this week, and I got plus money on it. So I'm going to take the plus money and that head-to-head and just roll with that, just fade him, just because, again, I like some of these players at the top that are pretty popular, so I'm going to have to differentiate somewhere in DraftKings. Kevin Na is down here, right? He's 8,400. He's won this tournament. He's a guy that it doesn't really matter. It seems like what his form is coming in. He'll just eventually pop and get the win, right? So he went from losing. He played the Tournament of Champions, lost 4.5 off the tee, lost 2.9 putting, and then the next week won the Sony and gained 5.7 on approach and gained 3.3 putting. When he won the Charles Schwab in 2019, he was coming up a missed cut from the PGA. Next week out at the Charles Schwab, gained 8.3 on approach and gained 7 on putting. You just never know with him, right? If he comes out and he's on, he's going to pay off because he's that kind of player. He can get hot, he can make a lot of putts, and then when his irons get going, he hits them with the best of them. So he's somebody I'm definitely going to be looking to in that sense. Grill, we talked about, he's only 7,900. I do like him. When you keep going down the board, you're looking at 70 plus 7,500 or more. It starts with Brennan Grace, Kuchar, Ortiz, Harold Varner III, Joel Diamond, Keith Mitchell, Lee Westwood, Sergio, Brennan Todd, Kisner, Cam Davis starts your 100. So I like HV3 in this range. I'm not going to bet him. He's 7,400 on DraftKings. I think he's an interesting play. I think he's another guy. He tends to play these tougher courses pretty decently, it seems. He can get hot with the irons. He's been putting okay. PGA Championship, he did not. But before that, he was gaining on a lot of his putting on the other tournaments. So he's somebody I potentially could have some interest in. That range right there behind the Joel Diamonds, the Russell Knox, Taylor Gooch, 7,400, 73, 73 are super interesting. I'm taking a hard look at those guys. Sergio Garcia literally just killed my lineups this last week at the PGA Championship. He played terrible. I mean, he was good off the tee and approach, like you think, but his around the green was awful, and he didn't putt very well. He hasn't putted well in a long time, so I shouldn't be surprised there. But he's just somebody I can't quit for some reason. I just always play him, and I just shouldn't. It's just dumb because he just loses me money. Keep going down the board, pricing and DraftKings wise. Doc Redman is somebody who, has kind of fallen off everybody's radar, it seems. But he is 125-1 this week, and he is okay in some of my modeling on Fantasy National. Last time he was out at the Byron Nelson, he actually gained 2 on approach and 2.9 putting. So that's the first time he'd gained in over 3 tournaments. Makes it kind of an interesting play there, where he might be somebody that is going to kind of fly under the radar in that range. Right now, he's coming in less than 6%. So, a guy like Harry Higgs is down there as well at 7,200. He is just got his Masters exemption with his finish at the PGA Championship. So obviously everybody wants to see that. Harry's a stud. Love him. But he's another one at 7,200. I kind of like. He tends to play these more difficult courses pretty well, which is interesting because he is kind of a farther hitter, I believe. So, but PGA Championship, 1 on approach, 2.6 putting, gained 5.5 around the green. He gained across the board. He was all green. He gained 10 strokes, total 7.4 tee to green. So pretty pretty nice outing there for Mr. Higgs. Should be interesting to see what he does here. I think some of the shorter courses, Heritage 59, Honda 19. So we'll see. He's somebody I don't mind kind of taking a look at. I do like some of the people below 7,000 on DraftKings and a couple bombs I do have. So the first one is Tom Hoagie. So Tom Hoagie is actually 29th or 28th overall in my model. He's an interesting guy. He is somebody that he finished 64th with PGA, so made the cut. He had gained on approach on basically 15 tournaments. I can't even tell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 tournaments up to this one. And then he lost a 1.5 in approach. He lost putting. But I feel like with his irons, he's somebody that if he gets hot with the irons, if he just hits his approach well, he can hang around, for his price. I don't mind it. I got him at 200 to 1. I actually did put a bet in on him. Just a small sprinkle, whatever, at 200 to 1. He's played this tournament a few times. Last in 2020, he did miss the cut, but before that, 40th, 42nd, and 17th. So kind of middling finishes, but not bad for someone down at 6,800. And then the other two, well, there are the three. So I actually have 3 guys below 7,000. The other one is another guy I just can't quit for some reason. That's Jason Duffner. I have played that guy an embarrassing amount for somebody that just tends to miss the cut or just have shit finishes all the time. But he's gained on approach in his last 3, right? He missed the cut at PGA, but he did gain an approach. He lost a little bit in putting. His putting is always going to be the issue. Usually his ball striking is okay, but with this being a shorter course, he should be able to gain a little bit. Off the tee, put it in the right spot. He plays harder courses pretty well. I'm going to go back to him on DraftKings for sure. I mean, probably the bet. I don't know. I shouldn't, but I'm going to. I like Duffner. I think that this is a decent play here. Again, just get hot with the irons. Hopefully he can make enough putts to kind of hang around. Next guy is Henrik Stenson. Stenson is somebody I looked to earlier in the week. I started looking at stuff Sunday, Monday. And I started him because I remember just seeing him on the broadcast. Actually, he's one of the few people that they showed. Maybe Friday evening or Saturday morning. I can't remember when I saw him, but I was like, Stenson, that's funny. What has he been doing? Because he's been playing terrible. So I took a look on Fantasy National when I opened up. To my surprise, gained on approach in the last 3, gained 5.8 at the PGA Championship. Has made 3 cuts in a row. I got him at 175 to 1. I had him starred on Fantasy National. I saw Jeff Ulrich and Pat Mayo both were on him, and I said, you know what? If they're on him, I'm gonna go for it too. I had him started already. I liked him. I was gonna be a coward and not do it, but said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's jump in with him. We're going Iceman here. Henrik Stenson, 6,700. Place a little bit on him at 175 to 1, and on our way. And then the last guy is Adam Schenk. So Adam Schenk is $6,500. He is, last time we saw him was Byron Nelson. Gained slightly on approach, gained quite a bit. Putting 5.6 at the Byron Nelson. Missed the cut at Wells Fargo, but then made the cut at Valspar with 4.8 on the approach. Made the cut at RBC Heritage where he finished 25th. Had 6.6 on approach and 2.3 strokes gained putting. Had a 36 overall finish at the Honda. Again, irons, putting. I think this is a good fit. He's played the Charles Schwab before. 2020, he finished 43rd. So he's seen the course. He knows how tough it is. I don't mind him at $6,500. When you're going down that low, it doesn't really matter. Other guys down here, Brendan Hagee's popped up a little bit here and there. He's 20th in the last 24 rounds from that proximity from 125 to 150. Approach game, other than that, hasn't been great. Denny McCarthy, if you're looking for somebody who's a elite putter, he butts the hell out of it. In the field, he's the best putter on tour. He just makes everything. So if you think that he's going to have that much of an advantage, you can do that. And then Vincent Whaley, who's a guy at 6,200 who just seems to make every single cut for some reason or no reason at all. He has not missed a cut in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 events, which is just wild. So, but he's somebody potentially if I try to jam in Justin Thomas or somebody with Colin Morikawa from up top, can look to do that. But I think that I might just stay with Stenson and Duffner and Hoagie and Shane. And that's enough of the guys below 7K because they're all probably going to miss the cut in my lineups anyways, so it doesn't even matter. Let's recap. I just said a lot of words without saying pretty much anything, so let me just give you the meat and potatoes. Bets I've been on for sure. Joaquin Niemann at 25-1. Okay, like Niemann, I actually have a future on him for the Open, the British Open. Like that bet, especially after seeing him playing in some of those tough conditions at the PGA. I think that got him at 71, so can't argue with that. So 25-1 for Joaquin Niemann this week. I got Jason Kokrak at 50. The book I'm looking at, he's already down to 40. Like I said, I think he started the week at 66, so he's obviously gotten quite a bit of steam. Good iron player. Can he make enough putts, which he has been lately, so I like that. And then I took some bombs. Henrik Stenson at 175, Tom Hoagie at 200. I also took Stenson at a top 10 at 14-1. And then the two head-to-heads I have Charlie Hoffman over Brian Harman at plus money. And I have actually a Colin Morikawa over Justin Thomas at plus money. So like both of those, like I said, I like Colin Morikawa quite a bit this week. Just irons. His irons are just so immaculate. He's the best iron player in the world. And if he makes some putts, he usually wins. So can't argue with a guy that just, if he makes putts, he wins. Simple game plan. Anyways, that's it for me. This is Ballin Over Beers. This is the PGA Bets Show. I am Justin Dupengheiser. You can find me on Twitter at JDiz1617. You can find us at Ballin Over or over at Borderfield Sports. That's where all of our other content is. Check that out. Like I said, smash the like button on the way out of here. We appreciate everybody being here. Talk to you next time.